Hello, everybody, and welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Belinda, and this is Enuma Hypnosis. This is a place where we talk about things people carry quietly, the grief, the fear, the healing, and the strength that often goes unseen. Today's conversation is one that touches my heart. My guest is Jeannine, and for many years, she lived with a condition called Pseudotumor Cerebri, a disorder that brought severe migraines, hospitalization, daily illnesses, vision loss, and challenges that most people never knew. I knew her in school. She's always been super cool. Love her to death. She began experiencing symptoms when she was 17 years old, but it wasn't until she was 26 that she finally received some answers. Along the way, she found comfort and support through organizations such as the National Headache Foundation and the American Migraine Foundation, causes that remain close to her heart today. What makes her story so powerful isn't just what she's endured, it's how she kept going, and she keeps going. Thank you so much for coming here and being with me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
So I know sharing parts of our lives like this can make us feel pretty vulnerable, and I really appreciate you being willing to have this conversation with me.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
Before all this happened, who were you? Like, what was it like being a teenager?
I'm very shy, so there was that. Quiet, loved my family, stayed with my family a lot, got good grades. That's me in a nutshell.
What were your dreams back then? Like, what did you aspire to be? What did you want to do?
I wanted to be a doctor.
What
I
kind
wanted
of doctor?
to be a pediatrician, and I
Really?
went to school with biology as my major, but I couldn't take physics and chemistry again. I couldn't. So I looked in the bulletin, and I found something else that was close to it, speech pathology.
Oh,
And
wow.
that's what I became, a speech pathologist.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So when you think about your younger self, what stands out the most?
Being the youngest of the family out of 3 kids.
Uh-huh.
I think if I can say it now that I'm older, being doted on, but always wanting the best for everybody and always being there for everybody.
Yeah, I was the last one. I kind of was like that too. They just thought I was a pain in the ass though. When the headaches first began, did you know something wasn't right, or did you just keep trying to push through it and tell yourself everything was going to be all right?
Well, I had my first migraine the day after the SATs. I had this excruciating headache, and I was like, what is going on here? But it was hereditary on my maternal side of my family. So from then on, I had migraines continuously. Yes.
The migraines were hereditary?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The pseudotumor cerebri was not.
Okay.
That just happened.
And what do you remember about those days? Like, what emotions come up when you think about that time now?
Sadness. That I couldn't do everything, that I would come home after work with a splitting headache. It was just sadness that I felt. Like, why is this happening?
You were working when you were in high school?
No, not in high school. I thought you meant after the SATs.
Okay, after the SATs, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. No, I didn't work. My parents would not allow us to work while we were doing schoolwork.
Oh, wow.
So
my mom made me go to work. She's like, go get a job.
So even through college, we weren't allowed to work. Our work was schoolwork.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you lived with symptoms for many years before you received your diagnosis? I
Well,
can't even imagine how difficult that must have been.
well, the migraines were awful. I got my first job when I was 21. I worked at Both Seas on Long Island
Yeah, I
for
went to
special.
BOCES.
Did you?
Yes,
Cool.
that's where I got my cosmetology license, girl. Well, I started
Cool.
there anyway. Yeah.
I worked with special education preschoolers,
Uh-huh.
uh, so as a speech pathologist, and I remember having headaches so bad that the principal would have me sleep in her office for
Wow.
the day, or they would take me home. They would drive me home. They were that bad. My
Wow.
mic that bad.
So, like, what was the hardest part? Was it the pain itself or like the uncertainty?
Both. Never knowing when it was going to happen, thinking it was going to happen that day, and it would. The pain and suffering was just. I can't explain a migraine to anybody, and I don't wish it on anybody.
Mm.
I just wouldn't.
Yeah, that feeling like your life was changing and nobody could tell you why, right? Like,
Right.
that's crazy. I know that there were periods when you were hospitalized and there were times where you vomited like every day, right? And you couldn't
Yeah.
drive.
Yeah. I would have migraines that would last too many days, and I'd go to the hospital, and my neurologist would put me in the hospital, and I'd have medication put in IV in my arm to stop the migraine from happening,
Right.
to stop it, and that would take a
Wow.
week stay at the hospital.
And you couldn't drive and you had to stop working?
When I had the um the Pseudotumor Cerebri, I was in Florida and I was in Lakeland. So my parents were in another town, and I lived near my sister and brother-in-law. Um, I was working, and any medication I would take for the migraine wouldn't work, and I had to stop working because I couldn't go into work. I couldn't drive. I couldn't think. So at that point, my parents took me out of my apartment. They paid off the apartment and took me to their town, Spring Hill, and watched over me. Took me to doctors, took me to neurologists, took me to chiropractors, anything to try and stop the headache. But
Right.
it was more than a migraine. So you can imagine how torturous that must have been if it was worse than a migraine.
So
Um,
like what did a normal day like look like for you?
just in bed throwing up.
Really? And which would
Yeah,
which would make the headache even worse because you would puke.
exactly,
Mm.
exactly,
And
exactly.
what were like the struggles that people couldn't see?
That I was losing my eyesight, half of my eyesight in my right eye. Um, and I couldn't describe that because I was like, what is going? Oh, I didn't understand what was going
Right.
on. Um, my father was always, comforting me, rubbing my back in the bed. My mother would try and give me tea or something, and I couldn't keep it down. So it was like about a 6-month journey trying to find the right doctor for for this. Um,
You must have been
yeah,
like really scared. I mean,
I
what was that? What can you share? Like your, losing your eyesight. Like, can you share what that experience was like emotionally?
it was scary because my left eye was doing fine, and my right eye was just getting blurry, and then half of it I couldn't see out of the outer portion by the temporal lobe or the temple. I couldn't see out of, and I was scared because I was thinking, I'm losing my eyesight. Oh my God, what is going on with my head? I'm throwing up every day. And all of these things are happening at once, and nobody knew the answer to it.
Were they're afraid you were going to lose your eyesight completely in that eye?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
which
That's
was
that's
scary.
crazy. Um, so like living with an invisible illness can be like really lonely. How did you feel? Like, did you feel understood by people around you, or did you feel like you carried something others couldn't fully understand?
Well, my parents were around me. They were my rocks. Um, uh, and I knew they didn't understand, but they were so caring and wanted to see this go away for me. So I knew they didn't understand like I didn't understand, but I could see the fear in their face
Right,
whenever they would come in the room.
right,
Like, what's going on with my daughter? What is this? How do
right,
we fix it? And I have a family that wants to always fix things, that you fix things.
right.
Um,
And how did that make you feel knowing that they would look at you like that? You know what I mean? Like, especially as a kid, you don't ever want to cause your parents any kind of pain, I guess, or sorrow. So how did you how did you process that? Like, what did you do?
all I could do was lay there and be sick. And if I cried, it would make the headache worse. If you can imagine it being worse than that, um, than what it was. And I wanted so badly to get better on
Yeah,
its own, like a migraine after a few days or a few weeks, it would be better. But
yeah.
this just never went away. Never went away.
And what do you wish people understood about living with an illness that they can't see?
That it does happen, and don't think that because it's not happened to you that, oh, they're kidding or they're making it up,
Right.
because that happens a lot. Like, oh yeah, you're making this up, you just want to be the center of attention, and it's not the case at all. You're in excruciating pain, because I have fibromyalgia too, and I could be in so much pain throughout my whole body, and people just think that, oh, come on, you can get through it, or you look great. I'm
Right.
like, I may look okay, but I'm not feeling okay.
Right. Do they say that that's like one of the like things that happened because of the pseudo?
Pseudotumor.
Yeah.
No, no, I just got that in my 30s, and
Oh,
I got tested for it at Stony Brook University, and I had the symptoms.
wow. Yeah.
So
I haven't heard Stony Brook in a long time. I haven't been home in 31 years. You said Stony Brook, and I was like, wow, I remember Stony Brook.
I
I dated a
haven't
guy
been
from
back in
Stony
a
Brook.
long time either. But
Um,
what did you say?
was there ever a moment where you thought, I don't know how much more of this can I handle?
Yes, from
And
day one.
so what got you through it?
My parents, my parents being so caring and being there constantly. I had the most fantastic parents. I'm sure everybody says that about their parents, but they really were there for me.
And
Um,
being sick. I mean, that's I could say I had fantastic parents, but I was never really sick.
mhm.
So you had fantastic parents because the whole time and taking care of you. And how
Yeah.
did your brothers and sisters feel about that?
Well, my brother was on Long Island, and he would call, and he would study things. He thought maybe I had Lyme disease, and he'd research that. My sister had just had a baby, so she was praying for me, and she would call my parents to see how I was doing. Um, it upset the entire family.
Did it bring them closer together?
We always had a close family, but I think it did. I mean, with my brother researching up on Long Island, and
Yeah.
I'm here in Florida, yeah, I think it brought us closer together. Like, what's going on here?
That's awesome. I mean, because sometimes, when you have somebody that's sick in the family, you sometimes it actually doesn't bring them closer. So
Mm,
it's amazing that everybody like manned up and decided to take care of their little sister. I love that.
yeah,
My
yeah.
brothers would have been like, "Get up, let's go. You're faking. Get up. You're fine." Yeah, they're trying to kill me all the time. Um, one thing I've learned from speaking with so many people is that pain changes us,
Hmm.
Sometimes it breaks us open. Sometimes like it teaches us things we would never have learned otherwise. How did this journey change you? And what did it teach you about yourself?
It made me know that I was stronger than I ever thought I was.
Hmm.
Like I thought, oh no, I can't do anything. I'm just this meek little thing. And when I would wake up with the headache and have to move, and was able to, or crawled on the floor. Um, there was one time actually while I was crawling on the floor, and this is how much I know my mother loved me. Um, she was crawling on the floor with me, and I had to vomit, and I vomited in her hands. Nobody would take that. Um, but it made me know that I was stronger than I thought I was.
Because you are. You're a badass.
Thank
You are.
you. Thank you.
Um, so when you finally received your diagnosis at 26 years old, when somebody finally explained that there was, what was it, excess cerebral fluid creating pressure
Yeah.
on your brain?
Yes. We went to Tampa General. It was like our last hope. Went to the neurologist, and it was at night when we finally got in. And my parents were in one room, the waiting room, and they put me in a dark, quiet room where I could lay down. And I heard him talk to my parents, and then he came, the doctor, Dr. Brock, I'll never forget his name, came into the room where I was, and he looked at me and he said, "I know exactly what this is. You never forget what people say
Right.
during illnesses or things like this." And he said, "Lie down, and I'm going to go talk to your parents." He went and talked to my parents, and I started tearing. I couldn't cry because that would hurt too much, but I was
Right.
tearing because I'm like, he said he knows what this is.
Yeah. So what was that
Um,
like? What was that like feeling, after all these years, what, 9 years you went through all this, not knowing what the
mhm.
hell was going on, and somebody finally says, "I got you." Like, what the hell did that feel like?
It was a relief. I didn't know what was coming next, but it was like, oh my God, someone knows what this is, and they're going to stop it or try and stop it. So it was a wonderful feeling.
That's
Um, and then that night, I had two um, lumbar punctures, or what are they called?
spinal, like a spinal tap.
Spinal taps.
Oh,
And they
girl.
hurt so bad because I'd never had that before. But and it was done not under radiology. It was done in the bed.
Oh,
So
hell no. I'm sorry. Absolutely. Look, they told me when I had my kids, they were like, "Do you want, the what the hell they call that thing? When they stick it in your spine to
yeah, yeah, I know. I can't think of the
epidural.
name of it.
Epidural. Do I want
Epidural,
an epidural?"
yeah.
I was like, "Hell no, you ain't sticking that in my back. Don't you worry about it." My people got out in the fields and pushed that baby out. Here we go. Give me some Pitocin and let it rock. It's fine. It'll go away eventually. I couldn't imagine doing that. I couldn't imagine going through that. And the
Yeah.
needle's huge, right?
It's a long needle because they're pulling out as much fluid as they can at a time.
God. How did you sit
So,
still?
hmm?
How did you sit still?
I lay down there and I was like, the first stick, I was like, ugh, what's going on here? But they just did it, and I had been in such pain for so long that it almost was like, okay, I can get through this
Right.
because it had been so long that I'd been in so much pain. So they did the spinal tap, and then they did another one, and then I fell asleep crying. Then I woke up in the morning, and they said they had to do another one. So I
Oh
had
my
3 in
God.
24 hours. Yeah. And from that point on, um, I stayed in the hospital for a week. Um, they gave me IV fluids because I didn't have any in my body.
What?
Um, so I gradually got better, but not better, if you know what
Right.
I mean. I was able to withstand things. My eye was still blurry on the side. I still had what I would call a migraine, but it wasn't a pseudotumor headache. They
Okay.
opted not to put a stent in my head because they didn't want any infection.
Right.
So after that, I went back home in about a week and had medication that I had to take for it. Um, I forgot the name of the medication now, but I had to take that on a daily basis, twice a day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and had to go back to the doctor, of course. And he saw that I was getting better, but he would always look in my eye to see if there was swelling behind the eye.
Mm-hmm.
And if there was, then I'd have to have a lumbar puncture.
So, what did that? So the lumbar puncture actually helped with the headaches, just removing
Be,
the fluids.
yeah, because a pseudotumor cerebri is liquid pressing on the brain. So they have to take out that liquid, that extra liquid that's coming from who knows where. And they get it out of the spine.
Wow. So they only have to do it. Well, they did it 3 times to you, right? So that was all it took.
No, I had the pseudotumor cerebri for about 3 more years. So whenever I
I
had,
can do that again.
yeah, I was having it, like at one point I was having it weekly.
What? They were sticking the needle in your back weekly.
Yeah,
Oh no.
yeah.
Oh my God.
hmm it was tough, but what happened? Go back a little bit. When I was getting a little bit better, and I could see a little bit more out of my right eye. My
Yeah.
father had to reteach me how to drive because I you lose some of the proprioception
Uh
of
huh.
driving, and he would let me drive around the block till I felt comfortable driving
Uh huh.
and seeing and using my eye again. Then I decided to do traveling therapy.
Girl, don't you tell me you're not a badass. You're like, okay, I can see a little bit cool. I'm gonna go drive everywhere. What?
And be without my parents. And I remember them, they were in front of the house and they're like, "What is she doing? Where is she going?" And I
Oh
drove up to New Jersey.
my.
Actually, I drove up to upstate New York to
Wait,
Utica.
hold on a second. You were living in Florida and you drove up to Jersey.
I drove up to upstate New York.
Oh
That's why I went
no.
for Faxton Hospital.
Oh my God. Okay, look. I drove I drove down from New York to Florida,
hmm
right, when I moved down here.
hmm
And my brother gave me some jacked up directions. That's before GPS because I'm that old. I got stuck up in the mountains somewhere. I was
Oh God.
crying. I was a mess. And I had my mother and my kid in there. You did this alone?
Yes, I did it alone. Drove up
Yeah.
there, and I took
Yeah.
a mountain route like you did.
Oh, hell, that was horrible. I'm afraid of heights, dude. That's a night. I can't believe you did that all alone.
I did because I had to prove to myself that I wasn't this mamby-pamby baby, that I could live again.
Um,
Um,
you were never a mamby-pamby baby. Wow. Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow. Good. I'm
yeah.
sorry. I'm in awe right now because
Yeah, so I had to get lumbar punctures up there. They treated me well. The company I worked for, the hospital I worked for, um, and I would rest for a day because you're contracted,
Right.
so you have to work.
Yes.
And then I got sicker, and my brother got me from Long Island. Um, and I stayed with him, and that's when I kept going to Stony Brook. Again, I had to keep going like every week.
Wow.
Um,
So your brother really, so it's like your family was really the ones that did everything to help you. Did you have any
yeah,
friends that stood by you?
no, because I was like on my own,
Yeah.
um, and I'm shy, so I didn't make friends that easily.
Really don't consider you shy though. Like you're doing
No,
all this crazy stuff and you're shy.
I'm just
I
crazy.
would say you're a loner, but I wouldn't say you were shy. Um, so like, what acts of kindness did other people show you that still stay with you today?
Well, um, they watched after me. I had another issue that happened. I don't know if I should get into that because we're talking about
You
pseudotumor.
can look. This is not any kind of script. You say whatever you want to say, girl. Because anybody who's listening here is going to be like, "What? What?" So
I was working in New Jersey as a contractor again, and one day I got out of my car and I couldn't step on my left leg. I couldn't walk, and um, it turns out that I needed a laminectomy
what's
on
that?
my back. Um, uh, the nerves were being pressed upon in my back, so they had to do surgery to get the bones to not press on my nerves. And so the a nurse that worked with me and her husband took me in to their in their fold, and my mother had to sign for the surgery because she was in Florida at the time. And I remember waking up in this hospital and I'm like, why am I here? Um, that was crazy. And I couldn't move because I had just had the surgery, not because I still had the spinal,
Oh my
the
God.
and then I had to go to Kessler Institute. I think they are just fantastic there. It's a rehab setting
Uh-huh.
in New Jersey, and it took me 3 months to relearn to walk.
So
So,
wait. So you still wait. So you still have this headache, right?
hmm
Still, even when they were fixing your nerves. So
yeah,
now you not only have the pain in your head, you can't walk, and you had pain from just having so you. Oh my God.
yeah.
I'm gonna get you a
But
cape.
I will always have migraines. Like I
Okay.
had one last night, like I told you.
Uh-huh.
But the pseudotumor I haven't had in years, but they still check my eye to see if there's swelling behind in the nerves. Um, and whenever I get like a like a, a I can't see out of my
Yeah,
eye, I get a little nervous.
of
But I
course.
always go to my neurologist, and then he's like, "No, you're doing fine."
I mean, at least is he cute? Give you something to look at?
He's very handsome.
Oh, there you go. Go ahead, girl.
He's very handsome, but very married. Darn.
All right. Give you something to look at.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so at some point along your journey, you found organizations like National Headache Foundation and the American Migraine Foundation.
hmm
What did it feel like to discover that there were other people living with similar struggles?
It was a shock because I'd never heard of this.
Yeah, I'd never heard
So
of it either. So,
yeah, so it was a shock. And actually, the first organization I'd heard of was ACE. I don't remember what it stood for, but ACHE.
uh-huh.
And they're no longer in existence. Now they have the other two.
Okay.
And to have that support, I guess, like I'm not alone,
100%.
it made it feel not better, but it made me feel like, okay, other people are going through this too, and they're dealing with it just as I am.
Right. You weren't an alien.
Yeah,
Hmm.
which I thought I was. I'm like, why is this happening to me? Where did it come from?
Right.
You know.
Now you
So
went into like, did you go into meetings or you just like, did you actually meet people that had the same issue or is it just you talking to the people that worked there?
just talking to the people that work there on the
Hmm.
phone,
Hmm.
and realizing that there are so many types of headaches
Hmm.
out there, but this one was amazing to me. I have no words to describe how I felt back then,
Uh-huh.
uh, other than what I told you.
So they
um,
helped you understand it better?
yes, yes,
Right.
and that it could come back, it could not come back, um, but just know that the medication and the the lumbar punctures were going to be the saving graces.
That's a lot. Wow. So I know these organizations, like they remain close to your heart.
Hmm.
What does it mean to you to support causes that help people who are facing challenges similar to your own?
It means a lot. Um, I'm very sensitive to anyone who says they have a headache. If they say they have a headache and they're next to me, I'm like, oh, sit down. Oh, do this. Do you need anything? Because I know the extent of which a headache feels.
Yeah,
It's torture.
right.
You can't think. You can't do anything without your brain. So um, I'm very sensitive to people who say they have a headache or a migraine.
Yeah,
I've only heard of one person who said that she had pseudotumor cerebri, but she never had it as I did.
right.
So I won the lottery.
Okay.
And
Lucky girl. Well, I mean, they picked a strong one, but you're right about the headaches. I mean, I had, you always think of just a headache as a headache. I
hmm.
had a really bad headache for 2 weeks from
Mm.
my brain, from the base of my head, like right by your neck, by the occipital bone, all the way to my,
Hmm.
to the front. And
Wow.
that was my warning signal before I had my stroke.
Yeah.
I didn't know, I didn't, who the hell knows? I'm thinking I got
Right.
a headache. I'm either hungry, dehydrated, I got to sleep, something's wrong,
Hmm.
I'm off, whatever. And
Right.
um, that was the warning signal telling me you need to go to the friggin' doctor. But, I'm thinking, "Psh, I'm a badass. I got this. Yeah.
I'm gonna do my life.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
I can't even imagine. Like, that was just 2 weeks. I can't imagine living with that for years and years.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, do you ever think about like someone hearing your story and realizing that they're not alone? Like when you talk to people?
I I don't want to know that someone's had it as I did, but I I would love to be able to comfort them, that to know that they're not alone,
Yeah.
that someone else has suffered from it too, because it's such an extraordinary illness. Like, I say to myself, who's heard of pseudotumor cerebri, that I would get it, you know? So I would hope that I would comfort someone or make them feel like I'm not the only one on this earth that's dealt with this type of thing.
Right. Well, like how you felt when when you found the organizations, had to be like a relief. Like, oh, thank God, somebody gets it.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
So like looking back on it now, right? Is there anything about, and it's gonna sound crazy, but
Mhm.
this is how I think, okay? Is there anything about this experience that you're grateful for? Like, I know it's a difficult question because nobody would choose to suffer. But
Right.
sometimes something beautiful grows from the hardest seasons of our lives.
It's
So
beautiful.
so what beauty came from this chapter? What strength did you discover inside yourself?
Not so much the strength. I didn't think of the strength. I thought about helping people. That I could be there for someone else who was going through some kind of extraordinary pain. That I could be an ear, or I could be someone to lean on or talk to, because what you need the most is someone who's there, who's not going to judge you wrongly or badly because you have this thing no one's heard of, but that's going to listen to you and let you air out your pain,
Right.
because it's painful. I'm emotionally painful.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what I
So that's
that's
what
the beauty.
that's the beauty of it, which is it is. You're giving, people don't realize that you just need an ear sometimes,
Mhm.
you just need to be able to exhale.
Yeah.
So if someone was listening right now, maybe they're living with chronic pain, maybe they're exhausted, maybe they're scared, maybe they're like looking for some answers. What would you want them to know? What helped you keep moving forward? And what do you hope they'd never forget?
My family kept me moving forward. Um, what I would not like them to ever forget is that there's someone there for you. I would hate to feel that someone thought no one was there for them. Whether they're reaching out to an organization or their family or friends, which are family, um, that there's somebody there for you. That's what I would hope they never forget.
And if someone was to ask you something that you wish somebody would have said to you or told you in your scariest of moments, what would that have been?
It's going to be okay. It's going to go away. No
Really?
one was able to say that to me
Right.
because they didn't know
So
what it was.
so if you couldn't say, because we can't really promise somebody that it would go away, but what else would have comforted you a little bit to have heard?
That we're here for you, and that I did hear. We're here for you. We're not going to leave you. Um, it's going to be okay. Somehow it's going to be okay.
That's beautiful. So like I was gonna just say, I always like to end with the question, like if you were sitting next to the version of yourself who was
Hmm.
struggling the most, the woman that was scared, you were sick, and you didn't really know what was gonna happen tomorrow. That's what you would say to her?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, yeah. I think in every situation, it's just people just want to know that they're not alone.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Definitely.
it's just like, that's the biggest reason why I wanted to do, the podcast, and that's the reason why I
Mm.
wanted to hypnotherapy. I've had a boat ton of my own traumas,
Hmm.
throughout my life, and you know, I never thought I had somebody. I never thought I could turn to somebody.
Mm.
So it's like going through all your crap.
Yeah.
Wish there was just somebody that you could say, it's I got you, I'm here, this is what happened to me, maybe what happened to me can help you, and
Yes.
I love that, you, the badass that you are, came on here and told us, how strong you are, because like me and you've talked on and off over
Hmm.
the years, and you are a super strong woman, and you are like amazing. You are definitely somebody that could definitely give some wisdom on so many different levels.
I thank you for saying that, but I don't see it in me.
Well,
I.
I'm telling you, and I'm sure
Hmm.
anybody who's listening would say the same damn thing, that she is a superwoman badass. You Um, but so thank you for your honesty, and
You're welcome.
thank you for sharing your heart. You're just a love bug. And thank you for reminding us that strength isn't always loud.
No.
You are
Sometimes it's quiet.
that shy little girl in high school is a freaking beast. She drove from Florida to New York, upstate New York. Does that even qualify as New York, though?
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Sometimes strength is simply just continuing, one day at a time,
Yeah.
one breath at a time, one step at a time.
1 second at a time.
100%. To anyone listening, thank you for spending the time with us. And if today's conversation touched your heart, I invite you to subscribe here on YouTube, where you're going to find more conversations and some guided meditations designed to support healing and self-discovery and emotional well-being. You can also connect with me through Anumi Hypnosis on Instagram and Facebook, or you can visit anumihypnosis.com. God, that's a lot of Anumi Hypnosis. Huh? Or explore some of my books, the journals. I have my memoir on there, so you'll get to know me a little bit more. And it's not a boohoo crybaby book, because I hate that. But there's journals, there's meditations, and I got candles. Soon I'll have affirmation cards if I can actually see. And I have fables on them, because I am a fable lover. I've tried to create a gentle reminder so that you don't have to walk through these difficult times alone. Everything I create comes from the same place this podcast comes from. It's the belief that healing begins when we feel seen, heard, and